Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United transfer news daily, talking all the latest Manchester United transfer news and giving it you that real fan opinion. And I tell you what, on the United Stand, we could cut it short. There's so much to talk about this morning, but we could cut it short, but why should we? Because tomorrow there might be a whole load of new stuff. So we're going to get through everything this morning, and it's an exciting one because there is so much, more than the names below me. Let's start off with then Alvaro Morata. Apparently Manchester United have offered around £50 million sterling, not euros. There's conflicting stories about this, but around £50 million sterling, UK money, for Real Madrid. But it's been rejected for Alvaro Morata from Real Madrid, but they've rejected it because they want, and let me get this right, I was going to say 70 million, 78 million. We've offered 52 million, sorry. They want 78 million. Get out and walk. I like Alvaro Morata. I think it'd be a good signing for United, but I thought about 40 billion. They want nearly double that. Now, I've already said that people will overpay this summer because that's the way it's going to be, and it's a seller's market. But 78 million for Alvaro Morata is no, forget it. Forget it. Get out. No chance. Don't want to pay it. I know it's not our money, and I always say that, but we would get ridiculed for that. He's not a 78 million pound striker. I think 52 million is about spot on, and especially when they're only going to offer 60 million for bloody De Gea. Get out and walk. I like Morata. I've said all the positive things about him. I think he's very good at everything. Pace, good in the air, holding the ball up without being amazing at it, but not for 78 million. And there is credibility to this story. I must add, there is credibility to this story that comes from our man, Marzio. I've got a lot of time for Marzio, especially in the summer when it comes to Manchester United news, and he is the one who said that this has happened. So I think there's some credibility behind it. I don't need to go through his track record as a journalist. He's normally spot on, so there must be something in it. And I think I always felt that Mourinho does like Morata. But the encouraging thing about the second part of what Marzio said is very exciting. Apparently, Manchester United will not go up to 78 million for Morata. They will put a bid of 70 million in for Belotti from Torino. Now that is encouraging because a lot of us have spoken about Belotti. I've been on about him for about a long time now, saying that it reminds me of a young Gianluca Vialli, good off both feet, fox in the box. But I think it was actually on last night's show, I don't think we'll go for him. I just think he's a player that we have tentatively been linked with, but I don't think we'll go for him, and I expect him to stay in Italy. But for Marzio to say that we're interested in Belotti, and Marzio is Italian based, that is very encouraging. I would love Belotti at Manchester United as our number 9. I really would. So that is very encouraging news. And I think both of these stories today, I don't always rank them on how credible they are, but I think the Morata bid and the potential Belotti bid, I'd be getting quite excited about that. I'd also still keep Mbappe in there because Marzio said about that. So lots going on with Manchester United, and I think we need this sort of positivity. I did say after the Griezmann thing there's going to be a lot of rubbish flying about, and there is, and I'll talk some of it in a moment for you, but the start of this today, Belotti and Morata, they're from a very good source when it comes to United traditionally, so get excited if you like those players, especially the Belotti one is fantastic. You'll see the name Sanchez there. It's not Alexis Sanchez, it's Renato Sanchez. Renato Sanchez part 2 in a way, I suppose. We really wanted him last summer, which adds credibility to us wanting him this summer potentially, because it was Mourinho who wanted United to sign Sanchez last around April time, wasn't it, last year, April, May, and he decided to go to Bayern Munich. That deal fell apart because Manchester United stumbled with Van Gaal. They didn't know whether they were going to keep him or not, but they had Mourinho lined up. Mourinho wanted Sanchez. United were sort of stalling on it. He went to Bayern Munich, same agent as Mourinho, George Mendes. Now, he's not had a great season at Bayern Munich. He's still just about to turn 20 this summer. He's a good midfielder, and apparently he may well be surplus to requirements at Bayern Munich, which means Manchester United move for him. What did you get with Renato Sanchez? It's hard to tell this year, but looking back at him when he burst onto the scene at Benfica, he's he's tenacious, which I like. He's very mobile, he's good on the ball, and I think he'd complement somebody like Pogba quite well. I think you'd still need a CDM behind him. Maybe Herrera could do that role. Will we do this deal? It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like we're going to do it, which is why I'm not getting excited about it. But I really wanted us to sign him a year ago. He's a very good player. He's a very good young player, and I know Mourinho likes him, so I'm sure we would move for him if it's possible. I just don't know whether Bayern Munich will want to give him another year, and maybe he wants another year. And the only other thing I would add in there, and is I don't know whether this is true or not, we have heard from some people that he's a bit of a party boy. He's not really settled in the sort of German way of life. So why would he settle in England? That might be some. But Mourinho will do his homework on that, and if it's relevant, he will certainly do it. You'll see the name Bakayoko on there. I did mention centre defensive midfielders. Now, I want Bakayoko to go to Chelsea, a bit like I want Lukaku to go to Chelsea. If both Lukaku and Bakayoko did end up at Manchester United, I would support them both and back Mourinho in the transfer market, because he's fantastic in that. But I do have my concerns about Bakayoko, and apparently Chelsea do as well, which is why apparently he's steering towards a move to Manchester United now. I was hoping we were going to avoid Bakayoko. I did speak highly of him up until about February time, but watching him towards the end of this season, I just couldn't move away from the fact that he's not that mobile, he doesn't position himself that well, and if I'm blunt, there's not a hell of a lot of difference between him and Fellaini, and we need a massive improvement on Fellaini in that centre defensive midfield position. So I don't... Look, maybe Mourinho, he's a young lad, 22 I think, Bakayoko, and maybe Mourinho sees, he's only 22, I can get a lot more out of him, which he could do. 22, you could develop, there's more years for development there, and maybe Mourinho sees what he can do with him, and he likes somebody tall, but, for me, Fabinho's the man, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Just a little bit of an update, and I think this was... how to rank it? It's in the 1 to 5 sort of category out of 10 in relation to credibility. But apparently it's Ed Woodward who is pushing the Gareth Bale signing. He wants that big sort of Galactico signing. Mourinho, as we reported a few weeks ago, isn't that intrigued by the Bale deal. He doesn't really want it. Apparently Mourinho wants Dybala as the Rooney replacement. Now Dybala, if you saw him in the Champions League final at the weekend, didn't have a great game, but he's had a very good season for Juventus. Argentinian, early 20s, same height as Rooney, same sort of player, I suppose, as Rooney in Rooney's prime. Very, very good on the ball, can run with it, can score all sorts of goals, very clinical. I don't think anybody would be put off by Dybala coming to Manchester United, but he's only just signed the new contract at Juventus. It cost a lot of money, which Manchester United can pay, and apparently Dybala's concerns are that he's playing in an ageing Juventus side, and I certainly think if I was Dybala at the weekend, I would be, good first half against Real Madrid, fell away in the second half and had nothing off the bench. And with AC Milan and Inter Milan going to be the superpowers in Italian football over the next few years with all the money they've got, I think Juventus will start to slide off a little bit. But apparently Dybala wants Barcelona or Real Madrid, like everybody seems to do. But they can't all go there. We've mentioned Dybala a little bit before. I don't really think it's going to happen, but interesting that Mourinho probably doesn't fancy the Bale deal, because I know a lot of you lot aren't convinced about it because of his injury record. Just going back, there's something I just forgot about Monaco and Bakayoko and Mbappe and Fabinho and anybody like that. The chances of people leaving Monaco have probably enhanced a little bit more over the next few days, because their coach, Jardim, is off to China. He's going to be paid a hell of a lot of money to go and manage one of the Chinese clubs. So Monaco will be out of manager. They've already lost Bernardo Silva. The exodus could well continue even more. Interesting quote as well from the Belgian player, who I always get his name wrong, Raji Nainggolan of Roma. I'll get complaints. 29. He's only just turned 29 in May. Very, very good. I mean, if you could pick anybody to come in and play in the centre defensive midfield role, if we signed him, I think everyone would be very excited. Regardless of his age, he's very, very tenacious. He's very good on the ball, but he's a very good tackler. He'd fit the Premier League very, very well, regardless of his age, like I say. He was asked about his future. I think he's on Belgian duty at the moment. He was asked about his future, and he basically said, and let me get the quote right, he was asked about going to Manchester United, and he said, it can be true, and it cannot be true. So bit vague, but if you think that means he's coming to United, that would be a bit naive, but a little bit encouraging as well. And James Rodriguez, he is obviously plays for Colombia coach Jose, not Jose Mourinho. Jose Pekerman has said that Rodriguez is very frustrated by his time at Real Madrid. It's not that he wants to leave because he doesn't like the club. He just wants first team football, and he's passionate about that. Is Rodriguez still an interesting player for Manchester United to sign? I'd still say yes, but it's interesting that we had that little bit of a lull after the Griezmann backfiring deal. Weekend was a little bit down. It's starting to build again. I'm starting to feel enthusiastic about Manchester United's transfer business this summer again. And you know, we're not touching on it at all, are we? Players going out the door, that's going to start kicking in at some point. Players will leave Manchester United, and it's interesting that we're not really hearing anything about that at the moment. Everything's focused on players coming in. It's still very early in June, I appreciate that, but very encouraged by the Marzio news. I've been very encouraged by the fact that he keeps linking us to Mbappe. I think that could happen, and I don't think Mbappe would be just Mbappe. I still think we could do Mbappe and Belotti or Morata, which is very interesting. But Morata at 78 million is just ridiculous from Real Madrid. And let's not forget they want our goalkeeper. You know, if we paid 78 million for Morata, I'd want 130 million for De Gea. So they can wind their neck in there. That's just ridiculous, and I don't want us to pay that. I mean, we can afford it, but it's being mugged off, and that would be way too much. And I like Morata, but it's encouraging about Belotti. I know he's got the 90 million buyout clause, but 70 million sterling, that's probably about right price for him, to be honest. Probably about right. No, it probably is about right price for him. So I'm encouraged by that from Marzio, and I think we all should be. Get your comments below. Covered loads today. Bakayoko, Belletti, Nainggolan, Rodriguez, Morata, Renato Sanchez, and Belotti. It's coming thick and fast today. I've covered it all. What do you think? I wanted to cover it all. I could have kept some back, but you never know what's going to happen today for tomorrow, for tonight. So I've covered it all. Get commenting on it all. Lots to talk about. Fire away. Join the debate below on the comments. And remember to drop us a like on the video if you're enjoying the transfer dailies. What else did I want to say? Yeah, back tonight at 8:30. Probably going to be live on the Mark Goldbridge channel again, so watch out for that later on. But it's a bit of a pain at the moment, this flipping between the two channels. We're trying to sort out the live thing on the United Stand and service the United Stand. But I think the most frustrating thing for me is that we are so close to 100,000 subscribers, and we have got things planned for 100,000 subscribers for you, like giveaways, special shows and that. So because the live content's moved to the Mark Goldbridge channel, I think it's slowing down the subscribers a little bit on here, and that was just within touching distance of 100,000. We want to get there as soon as possible so we can get this party started. Please do share the video, like the video, and if you are new, subscribe to the channel. Let's have a little push and get towards 100,000 and get it done. It'd be fantastic to do it. We've got loads lined up, and I can't wait to do it with you. So yeah, give it a push, shout your mates out, school friends, work colleagues, get them to subscribe to the United Stand, and let's get this done. It is your channel at the end of the day. Let's get there and let's get it done. Thanks everyone for watching. Get commenting below, and I'll speak to you all later. Unless you know, I've got a feeling something's going to break as well at some point. But thanks for watching. I'll speak to you soon.